This is Motorman Elwin here on location at Radio BVM for another edition of interviews with members within our community. Now, today we have two lovely, and I must emphasize, lovely young ladies here. They're not only lovely, but they're talented musicians dressed in our favorite time era here, 1920s, flappers. We have two lovely flappers women here. I'll introduce our first one is Bonnie Northgraves. Bonnie Northgraves. If I could just go back one step, as a motorman, I would drive all the way out from Vancouver, Burnaby, New Westminster, and all the way out for the famous Chilliwack corn. Now, I love my peaches and cream corn, so I would go out to Chilliwack all the time. So, Bonnie, welcome. Bonnie, I should tell you, she plays trumpet, and she also plays keyboard. So, hailing all the way back to the flapper era almost, is Bonnie Northgraves. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us.
And our other guest is Jen Hodge.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Oh, I feel like when I see you, I'm thinking Hotel Vancouver panorama roof, circa 1920s, maybe smoking a cigarette, having a little sip.
Perfect. Yes, that's exactly
Prohibition era?
You betcha.
Let me just guess. Is it your favorite time era?
Oh, well, I mean, it's definitely been lately. There's been, I guess, with the popularity of The Great Gatsby and Boardwalk Empire, there's been a lot of reason to kind of check out the music and the fashions of the 1920s, and I've definitely been enjoying it very much. It's great. Great music, great clothing, great culture, great cocktails from the 1920s.
Let's go back to Bonnie. Now, I must confess that I was a little bit surprised that you play the trumpet because, in the history of music and trumpet playing, typically it's always been men, Winston Marsalis and Louis Armstrong and the like. Let me ask you this. How did you find the trumpet, or did the trumpet find you?
I think the trumpet found me, really. It was something that was in our family's possession originally, and going into middle school, they're going, okay, what instrument do you want to play? Well, we have a trumpet. Why don't we try that? And to be honest, it sounded terrible. The first time I played it was really, really awful sounding. But, it was kind of, love at first feel, I guess, holding that and be like, okay, this is cool. And then getting the family giving me CDs and stuff of old trumpet players really inspired me. And, by grade 9, grade 10, I was sitting down listening to Louis Armstrong records and trying to transcribe them. So that's sort of how I got into this.
Because at one time I too played a trumpet in school. But there's always an issue of rehearsing and practicing your trumpet at home, especially if you got neighbors that were not so appreciative. Playing the trumpet's not like playing the flute.
No, not quite. You can get really creative. Like today, I've gotten pretty creative with a mute to make it a little quieter in here. But there's always ways, and being in this era, there is the technology. They have stuff like silent brass mutes where you can put in headphones and put in the mute and hear the trumpet through your headphones and not in the room anymore. So there's lots of really creative ways now, but I can't imagine back then if you had grouchy neighbors, it wouldn't be too much fun.
I went onto the website looking for female trumpet players. Alison Balsam, does that ring a bell?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's great.
Classical trumpet player, yeah, she's really great.
Was she an inspiration to you at all, or
not really? No.
Or did you have any? Who inspired you?
Originally, it was really Louis Armstrong and a lot of players that were at the jazz camps that I attended. All of those guys. Bree Stromberg was another huge influence on me, and she's another local girl. Actually grew up in Chilliwack as well. So she kind of took me under her wing and was very supportive in that way as well, too.
All right. Jen, I know you graduated from Capilano in jazz.
Yes, that's right.
So you've done a lot of jazz. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, you were on Granville Island last week on Canada Day at the Ron Basford stage.
Absolutely, yes, I was there. Bonnie was actually on that gig as well. There was
yes.
Sorry I missed you.
That's okay, but you should try and come next year if it happens again. It was really good, if I may say so.
I'm sure you were absolutely fantastic. But I think you don't do just jazz. You graduate in jazz, but you do more than jazz.
Yeah, I do all different kinds of jazz. First of all, I do this vintage stuff, which I love, and I do more modern stuff. I do, everything in between. We play for a lot of swing dances as well, which is really fun. And I don't know, dinner jazz, whatever.
50s music.
50s music, yeah, you name it, we'll do it. I was playing a lot with a folk trio for a while called the June Bugs, which did, bluegrass and that kind of thing, but also like folky sounding covers of, say, Radiohead or the Spice Girls or that kind of thing. So that was fun. Sometimes I play in the West Coast Symphony Orchestra. Basically, I love all different kinds of music. Oh, tonight I'm playing in at the Evergreen Theatre in Coquitlam with Diane Lyons. It's a show about like Louis Jordan music, that kind of Ray Charles. It's called Jump. So I like all kinds of music, and I love playing all kinds of music, and I feel fortunate to be able to do so.
You're jazz and more.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you have a regular gig at the Guilt and Company.
That's right.
At 1 Alexander Street.
You betcha.
I love that address.
Easy to remember, for sure.
That's just not too far from a stone's throw from Gassy Jack's statue.
Exactly, yeah. You could definitely peg Gassy Jack between the eyes if you threw a rock at him from there.
I have to confess, before it was Guilt and Company, I used to drink there.
Oh, you should drink there now that it's Guilt and Company as well.
But
it's
you're
a good place
there.
to drink.
You are there every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday, yeah. And Bonnie's in that group. It's the same group that just played on Canada Day. Bonnie actually leads a group on the alternate Wednesdays, so she's there every week.
But you play more than just the trumpet.
Yes, I play trumpet, piano, I sing, I dabble at drums. And,
I'm sure you do more than just dabble. I'm sure you're very proficient at that.
I play some guitar. I have what's called a guitalele, which is a small guitar shape, similar to Jen's ukulele, maybe a little bit bigger, but has all the guitar strings and is tuned like a guitar, but is in the key of...
So how many strings?
6, I think. Yeah. Okay. And is tuned like a guitar, but in the key of A instead of in E with the open string. So
those of you that are musically inclined out there.
Yeah. So it's a fun little instrument. It sounds half like a guitar, but still has that ukulele brightness. So that's a really fun little one I like to tote around.
I want to get back to your website.
Okay.
You got to tell me, you are strumming in what looks like an ice cream parlor on Prior Street in Raymer.
Yes, you're familiar with it.
It's my old stomping grounds.
Nice. La Casa Gelato, it's called, on Venables Street. We just did a photo shoot in there one day. Thought it would be a fun place. It was actually January. That's a friend of mine from my hometown called Jennifer Osborne, who is a great photographer, and we had plans to do a photo shoot. It was January, and she was living in Montreal, and she only had her camera, not her lighting gear and that kind of thing, so we had planned to shoot outside, and then sure enough it was snowing, and I couldn't stand with my upright bass outside in the snow because it would get ruined. That wasn't going to work. So we had to get creative without our lighting gear and find some places. And we thought, well, there won't be anyone in the ice cream shop on a snowy January day. Let's go there.
So you knocked on their door and you say, Mr. May I? Or may we?
Pretty much. We may have just, no one's going to say no to you if you walk in with an upright bass and say, like, hey, I'm here, just going to take some pictures. Just got my upright bass with me, lugged it all the way, and you're not going to send me out, are you? No, of course not.
Okay, here I thought you had a weakness for ice cream.
I do. I just also, maybe that's part of the reason as well. We went to a coffee shop as well.
All right, well...
Ice cream and coffee.
Ladies, I want to thank you so much for dressing up for the interview today. I wish we were on television, not radio. Oh, yeah. But ladies and gentlemen out there, if you could be where I'm sitting right now, you would see that these two lovely ladies are dressed up in period costume, Prohibition era, flappers. And Jen here, I must comment, has a circlet. Is that what it's called? A circlet?
Oh, I think that is what it's called. Yeah.
Yes, sometimes you
On my
see
head.
brides getting married wear circlets.
Oh, okay, fair enough. They
All right.
probably wouldn't wear this one. This one's black.
All right, thank you, ladies. We've been in conversation with Bonnie Northgraves and Jen Hodge till we meet again.
All right, thank you so much for having
again,
us.
this is Motorman Elwin on location at Radio BVM. This is Motorman Elwin here on Radio BVM. It is my great pleasure this afternoon here is to welcome two lovely, beautiful, and talented musicians hailing from all the way from Chilliwack, where I buy my famous Chilliwack horn, is Bonnie Northgraves and the lovely Jen Hodge. Ladies and gentlemen, so we have today Bonnie Northgraves on trumpet and Jen Hodge on the ukulele. Ladies, take it away.
All right. Oh, 2, 3. When night is creeping and I should be sleeping in bed. If you were peeping, you'd find that I'm weeping instead. Well, my loving daddy left his baby again. Said he'd come back, but he forgot to say when. Night after night, I'm crying. Daddy, won't you please come home? Daddy, won't you please come home? I'm so lonesome. No one can fill that vacant chair. Home isn't home when you're not there. No need to knock, the door is open for you. Sweet daddy, even the clock keeps ticking. Daddy, won't you please come home? Daddy, do you have to roam so very long? There's lots of other new sheiks who would like to be chic, and I haven't slept yet, but I'm liable to weaken. Daddy, Daddy, won't you please come home? Let's hear some trumpet. Well, even the clock keeps ticking. Daddy, won't you please come home? Daddy, do you have to roam so very long? There's lots of other new sheiks who would like to be chic, and I haven't slept yet, but I'm liable to weaken. Daddy, Daddy, won't you please come home?
Lovely, just absolutely lovely, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Well, we've had Jen Hodge on the ukulele and Bonnie Northgraves on the trumpet. Ladies, what's next for you?
Well, I'm playing tonight out in Coquitlam, and Bonnie's working on a Bard on the Beach play that she's playing trumpet in, and we'll both be back at Guilt & Co. together very soon.
All right, so you're at Bard on the Beach performing?
I am. I'm in
You're not
Measure.
going to be reciting a to be or not to be.
No, I'm in Measure for Measure, which is a really great play. I suggest everyone checks it out. It's just fabulous. And it's set in the 1900s in Storyville. So it's really fun, really great costumes. If nothing else, the costumes are amazing.
So if people want to contact you, do you have like a website or a Facebook kind of
Even
thing?
just going on to the Bard on the Beach website, they can get information for those shows there. Yeah.
Break a leg?
Thank you so much.
And Jen, do you have a Facebook website or a Twitter thing?
You can go to jenhodgebass.com. That's JenHodgeBass.com, jenhodgebass.com for my website. And then you can find me on Facebook as well if you look for Jen Hodge. You should find me, Jen Hodge Vancouver. I think that tends to work. Yeah.
So it's Jen Hodge bass, as in stand-up bass.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I was playing the ukulele on the radio, just it seemed easier than lugging the bass in here, but
Yeah,
I'm primarily a bass player, yeah.
You couldn't have found a bigger instrument, no?
No, I guess not. Maybe a grand piano.
Yes. All right, thank you, ladies. So this is Motorman Elwin here, signing off for another edition on Radio BVM.